This one's bent real bad. I got head. This is 2 of them. Aluminum. What a surprise. I didn't plan on getting into this motor like this until later. There's no money for this. The spark plug is loose. Are they all loose? That typical thing. Marketplace suggestion. The F book is like, maybe you like these, since you searched it somewhere else or talked about it at home on the couch, or we just know what you're thinking. You're looking for stuff, so we're gonna show you stuff. See, look, you want these, don't you? Yeah, peer pressure. Oh, it's not healthy for the wallet, but they're cheap. That's the only reason they're sitting here. Aluminum heads, loaded, $300. Guy says pulled from a running engine. Probably at some point. I mean, there's oil in them, there's carbon, so yeah, they ran sometime. I was passing through. I met them down at the gas station by the highway, and we do the exchange in the parking lot and look suspicious and jump in our vehicles and leave. Aluminum light. Wow. Aluminum heads? I cannot believe. Wow. Both of these together are lighter than one of the cast heads. I don't know if you guys can see. These are the factory cast heads. And actually, I should. So the guy brings these heads, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, oh, some stuff seems a little funny. But I was like, aluminum heads. I mean, you got to expect to have to rebuild them. You think like seals, maybe guides, maybe lap the seats or have them cut or something. You know, you just, for the price, you got to expect to like need some work. Yep. They need the work. That's what happens when you try to save a buck. You end up spending double because of that. Let me show you guys some stuff I see. Come on. Boy, it's funny. So here's what we're looking at. Some eBay no-name aluminum heads. 160 202. I believe these look like 64 cc chambers. I don't know, but they're aluminum. This is the only real number on these heads, and the only other head that I saw that has that weird number like this, and they kind of look like them, are I think Procom heads. Still, it's an eBay. They're cheap. Like, I think these heads new are like $600-700 for the pair. I think they're cheap. Monster ports. It's hard to see because of that carbon, but that goes right up. There's maybe an eighth of an inch, not even 3/32 between the threads and the port. Big ports, way too big, but they're aluminum heads. They're cheap. Can it be too big? Sure. Am I worried about it? No. So we're coming along, looking, and I was like, oh, that's what? Why does that look kind of weird? Well, there's an end of a spring in there. Oh yeah, triple springs, outside, inside, and then the flat one, the sleeve in the middle. And yeah, I don't think you're not supposed to see a end of a spring right there. So yeah, broken spring. I'm going along, I'm looking, I'm like, what's that shiny thing in there? Oh, that's a valve seal. Yep. Then I was like, well, there's another valve seal up there. Well, there's another valve seal up there. Well, there's another valve seal up there. Like, half of these valve seals are popped. Whatever. then I'm going across and I'm looking at the top of these, and what? Just sunk in that valve, or in that retainer. The top of that valve is actually below the surface of the retainer. Raised. Yeah, that one sunk a little bit too. Coming along. Oh look, oh, another one sunk in the retainer. Oh, okay. And another one sunk in the retainer. So like 3 valves out of here on this side, on the intake side, are sunk in the retainer. So yeah, it must be really soft in the retainers. Or the keepers, the locks are soft and junk or something. Or maybe just the valves are junk. So, okay, whatever. What is going on with that valve in the middle there? You guys can see this one. Look at that. Oh, that's junk. I'm looking across, well, you can't even see like valves sticking out because they're all sunk in the retainers. But look at how they're all like kitty wampus, every one of them. And then look on this one. Look at, you're in line with all the valves. And you come to this one and it's like, it's over here. It should be like that way. So, yeah, bent valve. And I believe I saw another one on this head somewhere. And then while talking to the guy, I'm like, well, what happened with these heads? Why'd you pull them off? And he's like, oh, well, somebody at some point put these on a stock block 302 with some huge lift. And the valves, exhaust valves, kissed. You see just light marks on every one of them. Valves are kissing the pistons. He said bent push rods and whatnot. I was like, oh, sweet. So there we are. That's what we're at. Is we got a set of aluminum heads that need everything. So we got to get all this junk out of here and see exactly what we got going on. We're going to spin all these valves, see how many are bent, if any are straight, and check all the springs, check all the retainers, check all the keepers. I don't think I'm going to be really keeping anything out of these heads. Maybe the triples are too much for this. Wow. Nope, there she goes. See, it works. To be truly honest, I don't know what I'm doing. I never actually like built a V8 before. I've assembled stuff for other people that got parts and said put this together, and I measured stuff and everything, but I never like had to like sit down and like figure out all this stuff for valve train and stuff. Like figure out what cam works best and what the springs you should be using for what weight of stuff and rocker ratios, piston size, stroke. So far springs are all good. How are the springs in the eBay heads? Are they bad? Do they break? Guides seem this guide seems okay. This one over here, no. That one slaps around. That one's like a hot dog down the hallway almost. Oh yeah. Yeah, these valves must be soft as shit. The locks are sinking into the valves. I have never seen that before. That's awesome. Which type is this? I hear something about umbrella type, and then is this spring type? Maybe this is spring type. Then the other one's umbrella. So that was this valve, and holy crap. I ain't gonna be able to pull it. I'm gonna have to cut that off to get that out. Other end of the actual valve, I'm looking down here and spinning it. I don't see light come through. Yeah, that one ain't gonna come out. Every one of these is, I mean, it's just, you gotta see this. Have a gander at that. This is the valve that retainer and keepers were stuck on. Look at that. That's not staining or oil left behind. That's That's the valve all squished and deformed and everything from the keepers. And look at that end of that valve, how bent it is. Isn't that awesome? Every single valve just mushroomed to destroyed. How soft are these things? The tip of every one is bent. That's funny. I am shocked. I don't know. I'm surprised that didn't break off and valve get sent down into the head. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell without the valves out, but it doesn't look like they're a 3-angle, which I wouldn't really expect out of an eBay head. So we know valves are all shot. Springs so far, well, and actually retainers and stuff. I bet you maybe the retainers are actually fine. Everyone I looked at looked fine down inside. Like I don't see no marks or anything from the keepers and the retainers. So maybe it was just the valves that keepers were sinking into and letting those retainers come up. This one's bent real bad. Still bent really bad, but will it? No, there's something like further up on it even. Now will it? Yup. Sweet. Good seat, and it's again making contact towards the inside. Oh, I want to show you guys the spring seats just covered in aluminum shavings. I think what was happening is his rockers were making contact, aluminum rockers were making contact on the sides because the valves were sinking in the retainers, and yeah, multiple problems probably. Maybe that's bearing material too, I don't know. Rockers or something in the head. Maybe the heads were just dirty. They just pulled them out of the box and put them on, then clean them. Easy. Maybe we can reuse that yet. No. Oh. Yeah, you can see how much that the locks like actually pulled up on the end of that valve too. Wow. I wonder if my measurements won't even be right. Maybe the end of that valve is stretched out. Now the guides, I don't know. Maybe the guides are okay. Every one of those seals, there's no lip on the top of these guides. So every one of those seals just popped right off. That kind of sucks. I don't know. Do you need glue them on or aluminum all over on the bottom? No wonder he was building a new motor. Oh yeah, so these valve seals are still on here. I was able to just, pull them right off. Some of them super easily. That's why they're popping off. Look at that one, is like 2 fingers. What do you guys say? Do I do guides since I'm here? Be nice if they had that lip on the top to catch that seal. Maybe I get those other ones, the ones with the clamp on the side. Are those better? Do they grip better? So some things, well, I just want to check the fit of these and make sure. Well, these are push rod guides to keep the rocker, everything just kind of straight. Are you guys even looking? Nope. Guides, they just get bolted in right there. And then these monsters, I think I went too big. Rocker arm stud kit. I'm gonna need one of these. Which one? This one? Oh, is that the right? Well, what? Was I just lucky? These are, I thought for sure I was gonna have to drill these out. These are 3/16. supposed to be. No, I mean 7/16. It doesn't, so where does it say? There's a piece of paper. Because I saw there was like a way too small of a rocker for these. And then there was mention of a 3/8 rocker stud for these. And it seems like most people run a 3/8. But then there's these 7/16, and I was like, oh, bigger, big better. We don't like breaking rocker studs and stuff. Application 7/16. Can you see? 7/16, typical Chevy Ford. I didn't even check these when I ordered these studs. Just ordered them. Huh. Now I feel like I'm kind of missing out on some fun. I don't have to do nothing. I guess just order valves and assemble it. Not even too old. Oh, these have got to be the cheapest valves on the planet. 1.5, yeah. Like they're all way off. Huh. Interesting. Stem width 0.3415. Length, is it overall? That's the one we're gonna take, I think. 510. Yeah, 510. Oh, because they're bent. I bet you that's throwing them off. I might just run these retainers again. How do you know what angle they are? 7, 10. How do you measure that little taper down in there? So what am I doing? I have no idea. Just, you guys are laughing at me. Freaking laughing at me. But I tell you what, I'm laughing too. So I was laying this bar across the keeper, and then I was adjusting this flat to be flat with the paper. It's not, I don't know. Either way, I came up with, well, you guys ain't gonna be able to see it at all because it's hard for me to see it sometimes. There's a glare. I got 6, so I'm assuming these are 7s. I think that's a pretty popular one, a 7-degree lock, right? Is that popular? We're gonna write down 7. I think that's enough to go on to like just start looking at stuff. Springs seem good. I thought I saw a broken spring when I was looking at them. I think what I was seeing was this edge of that inner spring. I think I was seeing that, and I thought that was a broken spring. Because that inner spring is kind of sits. It doesn't boing as far out as the outer spring. It's only rock and roll. I've been just working this whole week. Haven't been able to do anything on my stuff at all. As far as I can see, the castings, these heads, the seats all look great. They're totally usable. And honestly, for being cheap junk, well, I mean, it's not bad. Big, huge ports, way bigger than I'm going to be able to use. This motor's I'm actually going to lose some horsepower because these ports are so big, but whatever. It is what it is. Research and reading, and holy cow, is there just endless valves and springs and math, geometry, trigonometry, ubanometry, trumponometry. That guy that builds those cars and then sent one into space, nometry, all of that. And I don't understand a bit of it. I'm just trying to get some valves that'll fit in here and that I can use that won't mushroom out and fall apart like these pile of craps. We are gonna take off a bit just to make sure it's flat. I kind of want to, it's stupid, probably, maybe. I kind of want to run the multi-layer steel gasket on this motor. Maybe. I still have to read about that. My mind has been just gush from learning about valves and springs and rates, and there's endless videos out there about valve train and setting stuff up, and don't watch me and try to learn anything from me, because I'm just trying to get this together and work. Endless videos on YouTube of valve trains. Way better than I could ever imagine setting up a video. So go check those out. Those are excellent videos. Okay, almost. We're down in the hole now. Don't ruin the aluminum that's there. That's the most important part here. Careful. Oh, that's okay. We did it. There's the valve guide. Do you see it? I gotta touch the camera so I can see if I'm seeing it. So yeah, there is that lip right there. I figured that wasn't that size all the way through. Down here, it tapers a little bit towards the end. And I planned on, if I got new ones, I was gonna throw them in the lathe and taper that anyhow. But now I can get a measurement on this. It should be 1/2 inch. No, this one should be 0.502. We're gonna see. Right. 0 out, 0 out, 0 out. Mit Toyo. Oh, mit Toyo. 5.5. 5055. All the way until the taper. 2.08. Yo. I was like, there's gotta be a better way. So then I pulled out the old air hammer and I found this bit. And it has like, there's a snap ring on there, or circlip, or circle snap, whatever that is. And it has this lip, like it's made for like attachments on the end. And I was like, oh, well that's almost the same size as one of the valve guides. So I, went over to the mill, or lathe. Went over to the lathe and turned up this little bit right here that fits right inside of a valve guide like that. I mean, you can almost, yeah, it's like nice fit. Then I drilled out the end of it so it goes on that tool. So then you got air hammer with a thingy. So yeah, if you haven't noticed, we're doing all the guides now too. So you stick it in there and valve guide. Nice and easy. Valve guide. Valve guide. Really, I think the only ones I really had to do are the exhaust ones. Those were the only ones that made any contact with the pistons, and even still, like, these guides are fairly tight, actually. Probably could have got away with it, but the thing I did not like is where the seal goes on. It's smooth. Like I said, I could run a die over the top of that, thread it to grip onto the seals, but I shouldn't have to. These are all pretty snug. There was one on that head that came out pretty easily, and even after it came out, like, it looks like, I think it's this one right here. Like, it doesn't even look like it was sitting very tight in the head. So I'm wondering, one of the holes on that one, a little bit bigger than the rest. Ow. There! Guides are all out. There's like a burn. Every one of these. Should I deburr these? Probably should. The usual ball? Oh yeah, I think that'll work good. Yep. That right there. That's what we're gonna do for everyone. Yup. Sure. There we go. Deburred, or other stuff with these heads. The one other thing I noticed on the inside of the intake ports, well, if I put you guys over the top, well, you can see it from here really easily. There's that bump, and everyone's got that. It's just a narrow spot, and it's just not as protrusive on the other side. Protrusive, is that a word? But there's a slight bump on the other side of the port, and they're both right in the same spot, right here. What that's for, where that bump is, what that's for is push rod right here. That's where it comes through. So they obviously have more material there than what's needed. These heads, these are cheap eBay heads. They cast these and basically assemble them and throw them out the door. There's no work anywhere in these heads. So I think, at the risk of breaking through, unless I can measure this somehow. How do I measure what that thickness is, besides like kind of feeling with my fingers and being like, yeah, well, that's, You can kind of like look down, see how close it is to this wall right here. I don't know, how do you, it's like right there. We're looking at like where the edge of this port is and the inside edge of it. I mean, they're like right there. So I don't know, I still think, I mean, this protrudes pretty heavily into the intake ports. I think I'm gonna go through just quickly with a burr and flatten it out a little bit, and then the same on this other side if I can. All right, this is about to get loud. Shop vac hooked up. It almost fits in that intake valve. That's nuts. And then I got just a straight burr on here. I'm gonna see how it goes. Concrete etch. If I remember correctly, they say that this cleans aluminum out of carbide taps really nicely and easily. You just drop it in there and let it bubble and pull it out, and I don't know if you guys can see all that aluminum that packs in there. So we're gonna see. I've never actually tried this yet, so I think you're not supposed to breathe this when it's smoking and bubbling. So I'm gonna put this in here, go outside, and I should have something to grab this with besides my fingers. Well, maybe I can show you guys. Oh yeah, can you see all the bubbles happening? And it smells like aluminum. So I'll be the uncle. Look at that thing. There's one little tiny piece in right here yet. That's only because I grabbed it out kind of quick. That was 3 minutes it was in there. Almost like brand spanking. 2 of these on rotation. You could work. When I get plugged up, go and exchange it with the other one. And just keep on and going. We're going to keep on and going. For final finishings, I like these little flapper wheel deals, but they're big too until they wear down, and then they start to fit in the corner. So yeah, you actually want a slight roughness to the finish, because that's what keeps the fuel and air, it keeps the fuel from like sticking to the walls. Smooth finishes, the fuel can get stuck to it.
8 hours later.
Give you guys a tour of what we're doing here. Okay, hopefully this all kind of shows up. So we got, yeah, this bump basically gone, and this one gone, and just straight in there. No bump on this side whatsoever. So I was again trying to keep it just straight with this edge right here, just straight in. And then, well, make that corner, because it goes around the corner. I don't know if you guys can see down in there. It goes around that corner and down into the valve area. So yeah, there's as much as I'm going to do for porting on this intake, or on these heads. Jumping around here a lot. Valve guides all came in. We gotta throw them on the floor. Oh yeah, throw those in. However, looking at these heads, I don't know if you guys can see the drain backs. They just got some small holes in here. I've heard of high flow pumps actually like overflowing these, and then the oil starts like backing up. And we're just gonna a little bit bigger on the corner ones, because underneath That's where these bolts go through. Underneath, there's actually not much room there where those come through. So just off on the side, a little bit bigger, just to something. Did you guys see Puddin', Jacob, burn his hand this last week? He had a motor that was stuck, so he was spraying the cylinders full of stuff. He had to head off, just loading it up with all kinds of flammable material, letting it drain back into the oil pan. And then, well, he had a bad hole, a bad cylinder for whatever reason. I think the cylinder walls were just junk, and oh, the rod was bent bad. So he was deleting that, and he was welding up the oil journal in the crank down through the cylinder hole. So like right down in all the fumes and all the flammable stuff. He was welding away for a couple of seconds and just woof, right over his hand. Burnt her real good. And then he saw me mention about his lift, pushing a button every couple seconds. Like, you gotta slow down. Can't do that. You're gonna burn out the motor on your lift. Or the start capacitor or something. Puddin's Fab Shop. That's the guy, yeah. So, okay, those are drilled out. Those are gonna drain. What do I gotta do? I gotta clean this out where we're putting those new valve guides in. See, these have that, it's not a thread, it's actually a cut. Bunch of lips here that helps hold the seal so they don't just pop right off. These are actually AFR, Airflow Research valve guides. They just happen to be the exact right size for these. So it's perfect. Right length. Actually, here's an original. So this is the original out of this head. You see it's Schlickerly on the top. You see these are darn near identical. A little bit shorter with the AFRs, but that doesn't matter. That's okay. Better airflow. They got to figure it out. They research it, I guess. This is a brass brush. Yep, it can still scratch. Does this fit in this hole even? Yeah. But I'm not going to be pounding, like just nailing these holes. I'm going to squirt it down, squirt the brush, and I'm just going in and out a couple of times in each hole. See which one I like the best, and then marry that one. Nope. Just to get anything out that's in there. We're not trying to hone these holes. All right, we're at my date arbor press here, and I've got it all dialed in, lined up where when I look down, it looks straight. It's perfect. So we're gonna be driving on them right here, and what it is, I just put flat. This is UEHMVEM something plastic. This is actually a base of my toilet for the house. I got to cut this out yet and go install that. And then I need a little bit of a shim. So this is 3/8 whatever steel. And then this is what's backing up underneath this little ledge right here in the head. That's going right on that lip, so it kind of locks in right there. Everything is flat, and yeah, when you look down, you can see through the hole. Good enough for me. I turn this up on a lathe in like 3 seconds. It's just a little button pusher in there. Then it's going to be in there. And then we're going to drive her. Wham, 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 wham. No, that's not how it works. Trying to use up my little tube of red thread locker. That's going to be the lubricant to drive them in. And yeah, to hold them in there deal. First one. It's got a little bit of a taper on the very end of it, so it gets it lined up. So it's centered and ready to go home. So hopefully this works. I don't know. This is the first time doing this, and I need to hold on to it in case everything goes to hell here. I don't want to drop the head. That went in too easy, it seems. Maybe I hit the one loose one first. Maybe that was the one that was 16 holes and I hit the loosest one first. That was the exhaust side. This is the intake side. I should be able to just slide this down. Yeah, that feels more, yeah. That's a good presser. So that's what it should feel like. I wonder if I just hit the one single loose one that I felt taking them out on the very first try putting them in. I'm so worried about this falling off because it's actually like over the ledge here a little bit. So we'll see if this one goes down as loose as that first exhaust one. Oh yeah. Look at that. Loosen the exhaust. A little bit snugger. That one was a little bit snugger. That was acceptable. This one is hot dog down a hallway. I just tapped it with a hammer. That one fell right out. The other one took a couple of hits, but hardly anything to get those out. Got to get them out now when the Loctite is wet. When I was talking about it, I'm going to knurl this outside. So when you press it in, it makes it grow a little. Hey, I don't care. It's 8%. Screwdriver. Yeah, that's a screwdriver. Alright, so I dug through all of my knurlers, and I have two. We have two options here. We've got straight cut, fine, which I would like fine, or we got much more coarse, but angled. What I would want is fine, angled. That's what I want. So like, do I hold both of these together really hard? And no. I think when it comes down to it, I think you want the most surface area, the most coverage. So I'm thinking the straight, because you'll get more little things pushing over. Do you just go for coarse and then you get like bigger square pads, but then you get more indents? Man, what do you do? Tell me. What would you do? And repeat. This is that one going in that super loose hole, so we want to make sure she's got good knurl on her. Wow, that is nice. Super nice. Focus. Why you no focus? No focusing effort whatsoever here. You're so useless. Bottle's almost done. Oh yeah. It's probably not a good spot to hold my hand. Oh, she is. That makes her tight. I don't have to go as big in that knurl, I don't think, because that one was the one that was like a hot dog down a hallway. And man, that went in just as tight as this one. Remember, these are like 1,000 smaller. What's advertised. I'm just gonna go to 25 with this one. We're gonna see how that goes. Oh, that's perfect. Liberal amount of Loctite on the outside. Yep. Oh yeah, that feels good. That was excellent. Off to the machine shop with you. Yeah. I had plans to dial these in on the mill and then ream them to size. I'm gonna leave them for my machinist. The valve job, the angles, all of them. 1,200 angles on a valve job. He said send along one intake. We went with the Ferreira Florida valves. And these should be exhaust valves, yup. Small block Chevy exhaust valves. Yep. 6000 F6000 series. There's a 5000 and a 6000. These are the 6000. The supposed to be better yet, like more racing something valves. They're more money. I wouldn't have spent that money on them if there wasn't a guy on eBay giving them away. Yeah, it's not noon yet. It's not time to switch to beer. Heads are back. Really nice. He did just an amazing job. This is a 3-angle, 5, 6, 14, 500 angle valve job. There's all the angles in there. Some kind of angles, I don't know what angles, but there's angles. Valves fit super. If you hear, you know that sound of when it just slaps flat shut and it's making contact all the way around in one shot. It's not going ting 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 from rocking. It's just one. If you know, you know. He said all of these inserts are perfect. Should be. I mean, they're freaking stupid expensive. What do now? Well, we got to figure out how to get these in a mill. Take a skim pass. Make sure they're flat. The mill is still set up. You can see where a head was sitting here, where all the bolt holes were, where the metal fell down. And well, the boring head that I use for a surfacing flywheel or fly cutter. But anyhow, that was this head underneath here. That's for that Chevy POS. So I gotta get this cleaned up and then I can look at stuff. Before we get to milling off these or flattening out this deck, I want to go through and do a little bit of chamber work here. Just a little bit. These hard edges here, especially around this valve. I'm not going to get crazy like polishing these chambers out. Some guys do. They get in here and they just, oh my gosh, make it look like a mirror. And that's awesome. Yep, that's cool. No, I'm just going to just round off some edges so we get good flame travel and help flow some air through there. Quick and easy stuff. All right, now that you're a little bit closer, what I'm talking about is this edge right here between where the actual chamber is in the head and where it comes up to the flat, the deck, whatever that's called, the land. This flat area. There's a super right angle right here. And when flame is traveling across with from the spark, it's hard for it to get around sharp angles like that. Nice flowy, smooth angles are preferred. And it also helps, like when the intake and exhaust open, helps that air make that round edge instead of a squared off edge right there. We are going to be using a slight amount of SIFMs in here. CCs. Yeah, that place. We're going to be losing just a little bit of CCs in the chamber here, but decking it will help bring that back a little bit. It's going to be such a small amount here, it's negligible. I'm just going with the whatever grit flappy here. We're going to try that one. Stay away from the sealing surfaces here, and this is why I'm doing it before I deck it, so if I go whoops, oh, I still have the decking process to like take out any oops. You go after stuff like this, you always save decking for last. Get all your work done, from handling these, move them around, you get nicks. You're doing any kind of work. You're gonna be going along and be zing. You know, like Garth? No, Wayne. Yeah, Garth. In Wayne's World, when he's messing around in the shop going, and he goes down the side of that. Oh, what was that car? How can I not remember? Like right down the side of it, and just he's like, okay, we gotta go. It's time to go. Also, be very careful of the newly done valve seats. Oh yeah, stuff like this should have been done before I had the seats done. Yep. The flowing of stuff doesn't stop at the valve. It's not like once it's in there, that's it. You want to make sure everything flows. She's got to flow in, she's got to flow when it's in there, and she's got to flow out. It's an air pump. It wants to flow stuff. Can you guys even see? Probably not. See, just a little smooth on these edges here and on this peak. Okay, off to the mill. Oh! All right, here's the jigging that we're going to use for this. Angle plate, one bolt into the head, one down to the table, machinist jack, and some 1, 2, 3 blocks and a clamp on both ends, identical. Got it all dialed in. I just spin the head by hand as I'm dialing in, because I don't know if it's not flat, which this is not flat. I found that out already. It's hard to dial it in with the indicator sometimes because you're getting low spots, high spots, and you're getting like an average of it. I just quick and dirty, I spin this head and just barely touch the surface where it's like scratching the surface in spots. And then I'll use that, like feeling that, to like set up angles and whatnot of the head. We're pretty dialed in, crossed and front to back. Good enough. I think for this, I'm gonna set you guys up in a box. First thing I gotta do, everything is dialed in, like I said. I gotta touch off and then come back off of there. I'm gonna crank up the table, 5 thousandths? Yeah, maybe we could do it one pass on 5 thousandths, maybe 3 thousandths. I'll just do like a little bit just to see maybe if there's high spots, then we're not going to be digging into like really bad stuff. Come down to where close. Oh, just touched right there. Okay. Let's bring in the spindle down. I was going to be like, oh, rush this along a little bit. And then it touched right there. So that's a touch off. Okay. From there up, and I'm leaving the lock on. I'm gonna call it 3. I'm gonna go throw the lever on the other side for the power feed, and you guys, let's watch what happens here. It looks pretty clean for the front side. We'll see what happens when it's dragging on the back cut. Okie dokie do. This is what we're gonna get. It's flat. Just about ready to be assembled. Not quite yet. I gotta go around with a file off these corners. Razor sharp. Just, you won't even feel it. All of a sudden you just be like, whoa, where's that blood coming from? Well, that's weird. Everything's turning red. This is a good time to do this when it's all clamped down and can't move around on you. It sucks to leave a sharp edge on some of these, because that's where you can get pinging, detonation on a real fine edge like that. It almost acts like a diesel if you have like a really sharp edge or just like a fine burr sticking up. It gets hot on that fine burr and that can ignite fuel. And well, on higher compression, it can ignite that fuel before top dead center a lot more than when your timing is supposed to kick in and get problems. Detonation. Let's unclamp it and throw the other one in. Yeah. How do? Number 2's done. Well, pretty nice. I'm happy with it. Good enough to seal some exhaust gases in and some antifreeze, and I forgot to vacuum it all out. Dang it. All right, machining, I think, is all done. We can assemble these. Can we assemble them? I think we can. Gotta clean them really good first. Even though they've been cleaned 1,200 times, we're very, very close to having acceptable eBay heads. After a whole bunch of drinking and not much thinking, I think I got a plan for making these spark plug holes bigger without going to the mill and dialing this all in and being a big hoopla. Last night in the stupor, I hollowed out a spark plug. Took the porcelain and the stuff and the whatnots and everything out of it. And then I drilled it and then I reamed it until it's all on the center. My idea, this is the one special socket that fits in here. It's like super ultra thin. That's like the only one that I can get to fit in here now. My idea here, so I screw that in there and that's drilled and reamed, so that's all nice and center. And I took this rod and this way, and I made that fit in there like nice and snug. And my idea, this is the socket I want to fit eventually in here. I mean, it's almost there. I can like cram it in sideways and get it to stick, but there's no way I'm gonna get that down in there. It's like nothing. This is 7/8 of an inch. This here socket tree, the hole is just a little bit less than that. Hole saw mounted on this shaft that's guided by the spark plug and the spark plug hole in the head, and just hammer out. It doesn't have to look pretty. It's just making it bigger so I can get a socket in there later when I'm trying to change sparker plugs. There's these, which I needed these anyhow, so I just bought the whole kit, and it comes with a 7/8 in there, right there. There it is. That one, 7/8. Yeah. But then I was looking and I was like, oh, no way. There's these spider deals. Well, what's a spider deal? Well, I'm curious too. Let's have a look at what a spider is. This looks like it can hurt. So it's a fairly heavy duty hole saw, but it has a single carbide bobber cutter tip on there. Yup. I just got a feeling, oh, it's going to be like the typical hole saw, especially with the interrupted cut here. Like it's going to grab that edge and just be like, and then everything is all junk. The only way I could see this working, but spinning this thing at like a bajillion miles an hour. Here we go, ARP lube. If you watch stuff on the channel, you know this is what I use. Oh, it's gonna work. Okay, you guys are dangerously close, so if you get hit, don't blame me. There's everything right here. Got the vacuum cutting deal. I gotta get that on a drill. Using the red one today. And oh yeah, all the rip'ems. Oh yeah, vacuum. And probably put some safety squints on. I don't always wear my safety squints, but when I do, I probably shouldn't have been doing what I was doing. Here we go. It's cut and stuff. I can't believe I probably shouldn't have done that, because now there's stuff all over. I'm gonna push that into it. I never checked that this clears that spark plug nut. Oh yeah, that'll do. Yeah. Oh, sweet. That worked awesome. I did take off a little bit of the hex off the spark plug, but I'm not worried about that. I stopped just at the bottom of where that hex is. That's all the further I need to go down. But I mean, it ain't a perfect machine finish, but like I said, I don't care about in the spark plug hole. If there's a spark plug and a wire in there, you don't see that. Who the hell's looking in spark plug holes? After all the holes are done, I'm gonna try and go around with Old Faithful here and just try to deburr those edges. I'm gonna try to get down in those other edges down in here too. You could shove plugs in that hole all day long. These have been known to be called springs. They should be up to the task of doing the valve things for whatever the size. I didn't change the size of the valves or anything. I just got better ones. So I'm assuming they're fine. But there's an issue. There's always an issue. We have the seat, or the spring base pocket, this deal that goes in the head, and then the springs all sitting there. The outer spring, it's got a little bit of play. It's acceptable. On the guide, it has some slop as well. I don't really want to put this on there because there's stuff on there, but so on the guide it moves around about the same amount it does on the outside spring. That's, I think, fine. I grabbed this retainer, the upper, because, well, you know, I'm checking them, the stuff here. Inner spring goes on here. Nice, pretty close fit. It's right there. There's maybe 3, 4, 5 thousandths, maybe. Not even, no, not 5. 4 thousandths, 3 thousandths. There isn't much. That's perfect. That's what you want. That, or else even snap in. I kind of like that as well, where they like, you put it on and you actually got to push on it just a little bit just to get it to sit on that retainer. Fine. Middle spring, it doesn't, it's like in between this inner step and the outer step. It's like half on, half off. And another problem with this one is at full valve height, it don't reach, because they fit tight in this outer ring or outer spring. They say they help keep them from vibrating a lot. It's supposed to help keep them from wobbling and jiggling around. I don't know if I'm really that worried about that. I'm not going to be running stupid RPMs and stuff with this motor. I'm debating leaving it out. This is the retainers that were in this head. This is the springs that were in this head. And what's the best way to show you? Look at this. There's that hot dog down the hallway again. I don't know if you're gonna see like how big that gap is. So the top of the valve stem and this spring is allowed to move around, like dance around that much. I don't, you know, I'm no expert, but I don't think I don't think you're supposed to allow that movement that much on the top. Like everything else, so just that rabbit hole. I've got new retainers coming on the way. Oh yeah, you thought I forgot. You're saying, well, that extra space is for this inner spring. You put that in there and that'll go in there and tighten that up. Yep, I thought of that. So it's sitting on the very edge all the way around and then just down off that lip on that side. So it's like when you cram it in this spring retainer, it doesn't fit in there. I've tried and tried and tried, like it just doesn't fit right, because with this middle spring, this is too big to fit down in both of them. If you are getting it where you can get it to seat down finally, then it's off center from the spring. So the spring would be sitting cockeyed, or the valve would be always one. It don't work. And for clean work surfaces, as you see, I love using towels, because, well, you just lay them over the top of stuff and then you got a clean work surface. And these towels are like free, basically, at yard sales and whatnot, and hotel rooms and stuff. So I forgot what I was talking about, what we're doing and all the stuff. I just know I'm always waiting for stuff. And I always think, oh, this is going to be it. Something comes in and yeah, this is the end now. And then no, look at the next thing and then something else is wrong. This new old stuff, titanium, trick titanium. This is actually, this company's still in beeswax these days. But yeah, we got titanium retainers, new old stock, triple spring. Yep. Some stuff is there. I got these, and I know already, before even looking at them, even though I looked at them, because, well, the boxes, right, I had to see. Inside springs that we have don't fit over that inside stem. They're a little bit small. That's okay. I planned that. Second spring, that one that didn't have a landing before, now can have a landing there if we want a landing. I don't know, those are weird to me. The outside spring, the one that was loose as a goose on the stock retainers. Now, how do I show? Like, doesn't quite fit on there. It's actually kind of pretty close, but you don't fit. And well, I planned that. I planned it all. Look how high those locks are sitting on that retainer. Why is that now? These heads are never, ever, 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 ever gonna get done. 5/16. That's what these are. 5/6 tanks. I was wrong. 5/16. You can see side by side. I was actually 3/32 is what I was supposed to get. I don't know why but here we are. I already set up my compound on the lathe and set everything up, so we are cutting right at this 7 degrees, this taper inside of the original. And I'm not worried about marring up that inside with the chuck jaws, because we're going to be cutting that off eventually anyhow. So this should be a cut then. And this is going from 5/16 to 11/32 plus, yeah, keeping that 7 degree taper. I did also, this is a set true chuck. I did already also set that up, so we should be spot on center. Let's see how this goes. Hopefully we don't mess her up, because we only got 16 of them. Titanium, they say, is flammable. We'll keep some of that. We'll try it out. Oh, you guys aren't even looking. Super duper nice finish down in there. Hard to show, but it's nice. Slip her in a valve. Stick one lock in. Stick the other lock in. And yeah, see, she's not sitting down far enough yet. We're gonna try three thousandths. That's not a lot. All right, 3 more thousandths. We'll do a cut, and we'll see how far those locks sit down in there now. And you guys even see, I don't know if it synced much at all, did it? Not really. We'll do a little bit more of that. We'll do 3 more. We'll sneak up on her. Again, I only got 16 of these, so can't mess any up. Titanium flammable. Yeah. It's like, it's super bright. Oh, now I'm blinded. It acts like steel wool. So it burns, but it's not like, I guess you had a big pile of fine shavings, and maybe it could go up in the bad flames. Where are we sitting now? We're getting closer. I don't know. Do you want it like protruding, like sticking out? Do you want those locks sticking out just slightly? The other thing is too, the further we go down, the further we sink this valve into the retainer. So we lose height on the valve on the top, but also we're gaining distance for the spring underneath as we're bringing that up. I'm gonna go a little bit more. I think another 3, and we're gonna be about where I would like to be. Personally, I just want those locks just barely above that surface there. That's what I want. So we'll go 3 more. Lock, and you probably notice I'm not actually like measuring anything here. I'm just throwing the stuff on and looking at it. There goes my $400 retainer locks. So they're set in there. I'm gonna keep my fingers underneath it this time, but yeah, we are right. The camera's not gonna pick it up. Just barely. Yeah, maybe 32nd sticking out. I think I'm gonna be happy with that. So now I just gotta do this 15 more times. Nope. We're at different lathe now. And doing stuff. We're gonna go after this outside diameter of this first ring here and make it fit this spring. 1.11. Yeah, let's try that first. And I'm gonna do 2 20s. That'll be 40 thousandths. I'll try to do a trial fit and see if it works. There's 20 thousandths. I was thinking, gonna fit. There are the chuck jaws in a way. Yep. Yep, she won't snap in there with a 10 thou. We'll take off 11 and see what that does. Yeah, snaps in. That's basically what I'm looking for, I think. Yup. Man, that fits on that spring. Nice. Look at that edge. Can Can you see that? It's right to, I mean, it's like the retainer is made for this spring, or the spring is made for the retainer. Oh, it's a nice snap too. Oh yeah. Oh, we like that. 69. I can squeeze a 7 out of it. 0.70. 0.743, so we gotta take 43 off. I'll just go 40. See what that smells like. Center spring goes on nicely on that. Maybe a little bit. She doesn't have to be that snug. I like that. It's just taking a little bit of not much getting it on there. I like that. Right there is going to be our 0. We'll see how this goes. So the tool change is just drop that off, drop that on, and then this is a 90 or 245s. I got one on each side for whatever. Just a chamfer all these edges down here. We'll see how this goes. So just a touch, just a touch, a little bit more than a touch, and then this inside hole. Can I catch this? Sure can. So that's all 3 edges down there chamfered. Bail. We got things, but there's still some stuff. We're gonna go after each one. I'm gonna go on the bottom too. I'm gonna do that out over here though, so we're not dumping stuff in the head. Oh yeah, right over the floor. Yeah, like that. Can we assemble some stuff? Yeah, I'm gonna clean up stuff and we'll get to assembly. Okay, continuing on anyhow. Valve seals. These are different. Ford has different seals. I'm used to the ones that have like that spring around the top. These are like a metal ring. I don't know. Does it matter? These are interesting. I guess the black ones go on the exhausts and the blue ones go on the intakes. Exhaust intake. Right? Make sure you're going to the right one. Get her lined up. Push her on. Hopefully that stays on there. Yep, that just pushed right on there. Man, I wonder if these are going to pop off like those old ones. I don't know how I feel about these. That just seems... I don't know. Don't like that. Or look at it. Like, it doesn't... Yeah, it can pop right off. I don't like them. I'm going to see if I can get those, the other style valve stem seals. These are just... I'm not satisfied. So I guess now we're waiting more for real seals instead of these things, whatever they call them. I don't know. Junk. Just junk. Something comes up. I even forget what we're even doing here. We're drinking beer. We got these Mannerleys. They don't nothing. No affiliation or nothing. Just I went online and these were not quite the best deal for nitride. No, Teflon oil seals. And there's some guys that talk about these Teflon seals. You don't get what the fuck, they're white. I'm gonna show you guys right here what I ordered. And you're gonna see what the frick is that? Oh, I freaking hate that when they don't use an actual picture of what they're selling. Manly all PTFE valve stem seals. Okay, I thought that was just some kind of like silicone rubber crap or something. I didn't even think about PTFE. Anyhow, show me that freaking picture right there. Look it. Look it. Will you just look at that? Are you looking? Does that look like these frickers? Why can't, oh my gosh, these are never, ever gonna get done. Oh, there's still some beer in there. See those right there? That's what I want. That's what Summit has the picture of for these. All right, well, now you know what I'm doing. I'm waiting some more for Stomp. Dang it! Son of a bitch! It is now day 857 and a half of trying to assemble some freaking heads. So I got stuff again for like the 15th time. Oh, they're blue. They got springs on them. They look like the picture in the Summit thingy. Aftermarket positive valve with Wooten, small block Chevy. So these, oh yeah, they're gonna fit that. They're gonna fit the valve. Oh yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. Now I'm gonna like ruin this seal, pulling this off of here. So this should just push on like that. Yep, snug, perfect, like they were made for it. And it's gonna be all these same ones for exhaust, intake. Oh my gosh, they fit like they're made for it. Intake or exhaust for whatever reason. Oh, those push on are really nice. I like that. Box of intake valvers. Box of exhaust valvers. Besides keeping them clean everywhere, the most crucial right now for us is this groove. You don't want a chunk of anything in there where the locks go, because you don't want anything holding the locks out. Light oil, lube up the shaft, slip her in, and repeat. Valve. Did I say? There it goes. Oh yeah, valves in there. Now I has to be careful when I'm doing the clamp, my homemade pile of crap, that I don't scratch anything. We're just gonna cover the surface with some of this. Just don't want to nick a sealing surface, especially around these cylinders. That'd be bad. Spring combo we are going to be running. Like I was saying, I think we're just going inner, outer, and retainer. Like that. Skipping this thing. It's just a little plastic spacer that I'm going to stick up underneath here. That's going to make contact with the valve. And I got a little pocket I turned in there that fits right over that. Like that. So everything is right here. I can't, like that. And this head is in the way. Still in the way. Crank that down. And hopefully you're able to drop some locks in there. Where's my locks? The Ferreira, however you say their name. The locks made for their retainers. No, the locks made for their valves. That one. That one. I should be able to just back her out. There is stuff all set. Get out of there. Inner, outer, retainer. This valve spring compressor is actually small, and it's like that because I built it like 400 years ago. No, 150 years ago, when I was doing Honda motors. And then we just repeat this process over and over and over again until all the valves are in. There we go. That's one. There is another reason I'm not running these dampener springs, is because they say you're not supposed to with titanium retainers. They chew up the retainer. I actually didn't know that until I started researching like how needed these are. So I was like, do you really need them or not? There's tons of guys. Nah, I don't run them. I saw a bunch of guys too. They said all they ever had was issues with these. Tearing up retainers, getting jammed in places, falling apart and ruining stuff. One of the other reasons to run them, they talk about, is because as you see, they spiral in the opposite direction as the outer spring, and that's the same as the inner spring, so it kind of acts as a barrier in between them. But because of how tight we have everything now with these really good retainers that fit on these really well and locate everything perfectly, I don't foresee there being an issue with these outers jamming up with the inners. We got down to the end here and there was like one missing of something. That would be hysterical. Ha 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 ha. Well, first paint I saw on the outside spring, unless I wasn't paying close enough attention, there's a little dab of red on there. What does that mean? So the inner springs have a dab of blue and the outer springs have a dab of red. And there is Daddy Longlegs crawling on my neck. So if anybody out there knows what blue and red means, I'd be curious to know. And this is just C-clamp with that welded in and a little washer welded in the bottom. It would be nice, yes, if this would pivot, rotate, not rotate on there, like if there's a bearing in there, but it does the job. Okay, our next process here, process. These things and those things. Push rod guides. So they go in here and the push rod sits in here and it keeps them straight. And then I don't think there's like no real adjustment with these. They look like the holes fit pretty much spot on. There's this one hole has a slot in it side to side, but not the other one. The holes on the left here for the studs actually protrude down into the intake port. So we're going to use some blue Loctite. Now I'm just going to use a blue Loctite on all of them just because we don't want them loosening up. 45 foot-pounds and aluminum heads. If you got cast iron, it's 55. And we're going to, because this is not so much I'm looking to lock it, I'm looking to seal them here, I guess. These as well, if they back out, it's not the end of the world. They back out and the rocker backs off, you get a miss in the motor, and by that time you should be like looking into it and saying, well, what's going on here? and not just, you know, continually running it, hoping it gets better. Again, I'm just pushing the guide back as far as it can go, and I'm hoping it, like, because it's a round hole going against a round stud, it should center itself up and stuff like that. That's the hope. Let me get these snugged up. Snug. And we're just going to pull on them. That's one head. Dunzo. Sweet. Look at that. That looks beautiful. That looks like an actual, like, real head now. And I gotta brake clean these because they have some oil on them. And Loctite doesn't stick good to the oil. Stick good, pure. Dry. What does Loctite do? Set up. Every one of these valve. What? So every one of these valve cover bolt holes are all drilled offset that way. So there we are. Heads are all assembled. Everything looks great. I think this is it for this video for heads. Let me look down these heads now. If you guys remember, none of that was in line or flush or straight or anything before. Now it's like perfect. Perfecto. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with how stuff is. So yeah, in the end, would a guy suggest eBay heads, Procom, these things? Would I? Nope. I don't think I would. They're okay at best. Just take them out of the box, slap them on, run them, and not expect a lot out of them. I definitely would not put them on some daily driver that I want to drive a lot on. Really, as you can see, to make these right or acceptable in any way, shape, or form, the amount of money and work that you got to pour into these things, way better off just going out and getting yourself a set of trick flows or EFRs or just something that's nice, ready. Just slap them in and you can rely on them. The trick flows, these eBay heads, nope, I don't think I would ever actually get them and run them on any of my motors. Usually when I'm doing something for a motor, I don't want to have to worry about stuff falling apart and causing issues and just junk parts in general. Good parts in the eBay heads, the Procom heads, valve guides maybe were okay. I mean, they seem ish all right. The springs, well, I didn't see no broken ones. None of them are chipped. None of them are like junk that I could see yet. We're gonna find out running them in here how they are. Maybe I'll get valve float and all kinds of other issues and noises out of these springs. I don't know. We'll see. Besides that, retainers, the retainers that were in here, and well, yeah, the pockets, the valve spring bases, the plates underneath the valve springs. That's like really the only good parts that I would say are in these heads when you get them. If you can even say those are good. I don't know, like they didn't look like they took any abuse and they were still there. Obviously, the retainers they used didn't fit. Like none of the parts they used like actually matched to each other. Like it was a super horrible compilation of parts that they used. Like it seems like they didn't know nothing at all. Like they just bought all the parts to like just get the heads together and get them shipped out. They didn't care what they were. Just give me whatever you got. Whatever's cheap, let's get these together and send them out to people. So, I mean, I'm sure, you know, you see guys that say, oh yeah, I put them on, I had good luck with them. Maybe when you get some batch that they like somehow get a set of components that kind of match each other and stuff, maybe they're okay. Other ones, they're assembled with whatever they got laying around, and they're super mismatched and no good. Yeah, that's the guys like this one that probably had problems. So there again, like I said, I would not recommend a set of Pro Comp or eBay heads to just get and run. Yeah, that's my unprofessional opinion. I'm sorry this video is going to be stupid long. I know already because I've been editing it forever, waiting for parts to come in. But it is what it is. I'm sorry. Hope you guys like it anyhow and get an actual idea of what these heads are about. And yeah, if you do like this stuff, give me a subscribe and a like, maybe, if you like it. If you like it, click the button that says like right down here. Click. Thanks for watching, everybody. Come back for the next one. Next one's gonna be, well, yeah, because we're still commenting. It's still there. I got stuff going on. Next one might be, well, I don't know, there's stuff. Just, yeah, come back and see. Stuff. It's beer time.